I am sick with baby fever and it needs to be cured. 9 years of being married, 12 years being together. We grew up and had very different backgrounds and different experiences with our parents.
We grew up in stability and a safety, and I grew up in a very different environment. I've never seen a healthy parental relationship. Early on, we argued a lot because I did not know how to deal with conflict. I took the way I thought growing up and I brought it into our marriage. I'm actually excited to be a dad, to even heal the parts of me that didn't get to experience a safe parent. There won't be anything that comes from this bloodline after me that will ever have to face anything like that ever again.
It's like you were just a kid. You go and you have this great experience, this fun day with your dad, only to come home and have to deal
Oh my God. Dang, I don't even know.
No, but
Wow.
it's like you were just a kid. Like, so I know that was really hard. You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you, I'm good.
But you're the best husband. I know that like you're going to be the exact same as a father.
I did not expect them emotions to come up. That's kind of crazy.
We don't believe that the perfect marriage exists.
Facts, but intentional ones do.
And over the years,
We've learned that it takes more than just love to build a life together.
this is the show where we share what's worked for us. This is
The Bailey Way. What's up, y'all? It's your boy Derell,
I'm Samantha.
and this is The Bailey Way.
You guys, I am sick with baby fever and it needs to be cured.
You definitely sick with baby fever.
I am so ready to have a baby.
The amount of AI babies you done sent me over the last 2 months, whether
A real one.
you, I know, I am aware, and I'm excited to have kids with you. I'm ready.
I'm so ready to have a family.
Yeah.
Like it is time. We've been together. This year will be 9 years of being married. 12 years being together. And I feel like we've kind of done things in an unconventional way. I feel like a lot of couples, you know, have kids kind of earlier in their marriage. We've definitely been, of the couples we know who have kids, we've been, you know, one of the ones who have waited.
I feel like
Talk about today.
we have been OGs in this marriage game, and I've literally known couples who have got married like 5 years after us and had babies already.
Had babies, had multiple babies.
Yeah.
I remember when we got married, the pastor that married us was like, you know, because, you know, in this generation, a lot of couples, when I see you guys in 2 years, I know you're going to have a baby.
Yeah.
And I was like, he doesn't know us.
He don't know us. We gonna enjoy this life.
We always said, though, like we've always said, like late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah.
We're never in a rush.
I think the thing about it is one, we were very like focused on our careers, focused on, I wouldn't even say put more emphasis on enjoying life. We was just ready to like get to work. I was ready to climb the ranks in the military. You were ready to climb the corporate ladder.
Yeah.
And we were okay with waiting to have kids.
Yeah.
And then I think it helped too that your mom had you at what, 30?
She was 30 when she had me, 34 when she had my sister. But
Yeah.
I think there definitely was an element for us of wanting to enjoy life and to experience certain things and like get some things out of our system, like, you know, big trips, just enjoying you and I together before bringing a baby into it. And I feel like the amount of time we waited for us has been perfect. But we also had that luxury of waiting so long because we got married very young.
And I'm grateful too. Like, I feel like we had the opportunity to actually get to grow up together.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we spent all of our 20s together. You know what I'm saying? I don't know life without you in my 20s. And so we literally like matured together. And I think for me, that was really important because, you know, my mom had me when she was 15, you know what I'm saying? And so she was a baby having a baby. You know, when I look back, I'm like, dang, that is insane. Like, my mom was 31, like the age I am now, I was 15 by now already. You know what I'm saying? So I could
you
if I follow that path, I could have a 15-year-old.
For real.
Which is crazy, you know what I mean? And so I'm glad that we took our time, we've enjoyed our 20s, and now we're financially in a position to where we can have kids. We're mature enough to have kids.
Yeah.
And I think we're both on the same page as how we want to raise our kids. And so, you know, I'm excited. I'm really excited.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I was gonna just kind of go into like the fact that we grew up and had very different backgrounds and different experiences with our parents, and we've had so many conversations about what our own parenting styles are gonna look like.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, let me ask you, like, as far as how you grew up, because I always talk about how you grew up in stability and a safety, and I grew up in a very different environment. So talk to us about how you grew up and how you think that's going to play a role into how you show up as a mom.
Oh, so my parents were very present. Like my mom, I remember when I was very young, she worked at a bank, but once, I think from the time I was like 4, maybe 5, she was home and she had an in-home daycare, but she was always there. Like she was volunteering on every field trip, either her or my dad. Yeah. She drove me to school. I remember I didn't even like taking the bus. So she would drive me to school, pick me up. Even in like high school, like I would go home for lunch and she would have lunch ready for me.
It blew my mind when I found out that you never ate school lunch.
No.
Like that blew my mind.
I never ate school lunch. There would be times where it would be like a treat and I could get like, I think on Thursdays they had like pizza. So I would get pizza on like pizza days, but every other day she would make my lunch.
Crazy.
Yeah. But also just like the fact that like I think a lot of kids grow up and they see their parents in the morning, everyone goes their separate ways for the day, and then you see them again at like dinner time. Even after school, a lot of kids like they go to where I was from, it was called like an Excel program or like to a daycare. My mom was there. I saw her in the morning. She dropped me off. I saw her at lunch. I saw her after school. Like she was just
very present.
A huge part of my day that like I can't imagine. Like if she never really did this, but like if she ever went away, like on a trip with her friends or something, I'd be like, what do I do? Who's going to make my lunch? Like, what do I do?
Yeah. And what about your dad at that time?
My dad was there too, but he was working. So like he would be gone to work in the morning, home, but we had dinner every night as a family at 5:00 sharp. Which now that I'm an adult, that's early. That's
an early dinner, yeah.
So she wanted us in bed.
Yeah, that's a fact.
She wanted
these kids tired so they can go to sleep.
Yeah. But I think that's one thing that I definitely want to take into like being a mom is just being present. Like I'm going to be on the, what is it called? The PTA board.
Oh, Lord.
Parent teacher.
I guess.
We're not homeschooled.
I was about to say, we talked about that too.
We're going to be together all the time. But I think that's the biggest thing. It's just like being present.
I think that's amazing. I feel like the fact that, and this it's crazy that this is surprising to me or is exciting to me to know that you were raised in an environment where it was just like very responsible, very safe, you don't know anything outside of that. Like you will never know what it's like to like, I don't know, get out of school and wonder if your parents are going to be there to pick you up or bring you lunch. And like for me growing up, I was the complete opposite. So as you know, my mom had me when she was 15. My dad wasn't in my life. And we moved around a lot. And the thing is that I remember when I was 8 years old, I remember this was one of the first time my dad tried to come and pick me up. Now, my dad was like, he was in the streets, a drug dealer, in and out of jail kind of deal, right? And I remember one day my mom went to work and I was at my grandmother's house, my great-grandmother's house. It was like the big house in the hood that everybody go to. And so, we would go there anytime my mom went to work, especially in the summers or whatever. And I remember one day my dad came to pick me up and my grandma told me, she was like, you should go spend some time with your daddy. This is your opportunity. Go spend some time with him. And, he picked me up and I was so excited. Like, I was like, I'm about to spend time with my dad. Like, this is so cool. Like, I was like, whoa. Cause I knew who he was and I had been around him a couple times, but not enough to spend a whole day with him. You know what I'm saying? Like this was the time where it was going to be like, we about to spend some time together. And we had so much fun that day. Like he picked me up and we walked to the bus stop because he didn't have a car. So we walked to the bus stop and he took me to McDonald's. We sat down at a McDonald's. We had food at McDonald's, left McDonald's, went to the basketball courts over by Holiday Park in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I'll never forget. And I was really good at basketball even at that age. And he was just so impressed. And you know what I'm saying? I would be shooting it and making it. And he was like, dang, son, you good, man. You good. He's hood, And so,
Gold teeth.
yeah, with all his, my dad got a mouthful of gold teeth. Like every tooth in his mouth is gold. And I remember one of his homeboys came and picked us up, and he drove us to this pool hall. And we go into the pool hall. Now, I grew up in the Boys and Girls Club. So in the Boys and Girls Club, that's what you did. You played pool. We played pool, played basketball, played foosball, ping pong. But I was really good at pool. And even at 8, 9 years old, I was just really good. And I went in there and I started beating guys like grown men in pool. And so he started putting money up that I would beat them in pool. You know what I'm saying? And so I was beating them and he was making money. And so we just had so much fun. And then we left there. We took the city bus to get a haircut. He took me to get a haircut. And I just remember, I didn't think nothing of it. I felt safe. Like I felt good. Like it was just me and my dad. And I'm the oldest out of all his kids. I got 8 or 9 brothers and sisters. And I'm the oldest. And it was just me and him though. And he did have his other family that he was raising. My younger brothers, there's twins, there's 2 sets of twins. No, there's twins and then my younger sister and stuff like that. But none of them were with us. It was just me and him. And he took us back after that day. You know, we went back to my grandmother's house before my mom got home from work. And man, I just remember feeling like, man, I just hung out with my dad. Like I was so excited. My grandma was like, "You had a good time?" I was like, "Yeah, grandma, I had a good time." And I remember when he left, he was like, "Son, I'm gonna see you again real soon, all right?" When he left, like literally within 10 minutes, my mom pulled up. And I didn't know that my grandmother did not tell my mom that my dad was came to pick me up and I spent the day with. She had no idea I spent the day with him. And growing up, my mom was the type of mom, unfortunately, where if she had beef with her baby daddies, because my mom have all my siblings, me, my brother, and my sister from my mom, we all got different fathers. If she got beef with them, they cannot see their kids. Like she, unfortunately. And so when my mom found out, I told her, because I was excited. I told her, I was like, "I spent time with my dad today." And she lost it. She was like, "What?" And she lost it. And thinking back, my mom was so young. If I was 8, she had to be no more than 22, 23 years old, maybe 24. And she lost it. Has to be like 2003, 2004. I was born in 94. So that'd be 2002, 2003. And we got in the car, she had a Nissan Altima back then, and she was cussing me out. Like she was like, "Don't you ever go with that man no more. Don't you ever." And I remember we got home to our little apartment in the hood. It's called Somerset Apartments in Lauderhill, Florida. And she grabbed the biggest belt she can find and she started wearing me out. And I was so confused. It was I just could not. I was so confused. I was like, how am I getting in trouble for spending time with my dad? And that was the first time I started feeling like, well, maybe it's not a good idea. Maybe dads aren't good or something, or maybe I shouldn't be spending time with my dad, or like I was just, she confused the hell out of me. Like I was like, I don't know what I did wrong. And, my grandmother my mom was wild back then. Like, I was her first kid, the first kids get it the worst. And I just remember feeling scared now to go spend time with my dad. Now, the real reason I should have been scared to spend time with my dad is because he's been in shootouts before. He's been, he's been in some serious stuff. And so even when I was in the car with his best friend, Lavelle, who, God bless his soul, he ended up getting killed later on, years later from some other stuff. I should have been scared for that reason, but I was scared because my mom made me scared of my dad. But my dad was just trying to do the right thing. The thing you got to understand about my dad is that he grew up without his dad too. And he ended up seeing his dad get shot in the head when he was 11 years old. So my dad had a lot of trauma, and he was raised by his grandmother. And they was raised in the hood. So he was a part of a repeated cycle of a Black man not really having anybody to look up to or anything like that. And so my dad back then, he had to be maybe 25, 26 years old coming to pick me up. That was him making an effort to do the right thing and come pick up his son and spend time with his son, regardless of what he had going on with my mom. And, looking back, it breaks my heart that I had to go through that and that I couldn't even spend time with him. But, that was my introduction to like parenthood, like seeing what that looked, because all I knew was my mom. And, any man that came through the house, because my mom dated different guys, like every year it was somebody different that came through. It was just weird, you know what I'm saying? To have a man in the house, you know what I'm saying? It was weird. And so, my mom raised me. We had a very tumultuous upbringing because, she put me through a lot. And I talked about that publicly, when I got old enough, I started to call her out for a lot of the things that she put me through. But my mom was the type of person where it was like, you were raised in my house. I raised you. You came out of me. And so you will be the one black man that respects me no matter what I do. If I can be dead wrong, you going to respect me. You're never going to question me. But it came at the expense of my mental health and my well-being and my safety. And so when I turned like 15 years old, I started calling her out and I didn't care. Like I literally didn't care if she would kill me. I was to the point where I was like, you can beat me. Because she would beat me when I was in middle school and drop me off at the hospital. Like that's how bad it was. And so I was to the point where it's like, I don't care if you beat the brakes off of me. I'm gonna call, every time you lie, I'm gonna call you out. Every time you say something crazy, I'm gonna call you out. And I started doing it. And when I was 16 years old, I talked about this. My mom, long story short, and we'll save this for another podcast episode, but she basically lied to the state of Florida, told them I was smoking, doing drugs, abusing her, abusing my little brother. I was out of control. And she had the state send out reps to check the safety of the home. And she ambushed me. There was 4 cops in the house. And as they started listing out the things that they said I was doing, I got really upset in the moment because I'm like, no, she's a pathological liar. She's a scammer. She's done this, and this. And the men in the room, the police in the room, they saw that as like me being disrespectful because, if you have a good mom and you see a kid like raising his voice and doing all this stuff, you're going to think, okay, yeah, that kid is out of control. So they took my behind to a psychiatric ward. And I was in there for 3 days. I was supposed to be in there for 3 months. But I got to see the psychiatrist. He evaluated me. I told him my mom was crazy. I had him call my coaches, my aunt, my godmom, my goddad. Everybody confirmed, yes, she's crazy. Like, don't let him go. And they let me out of there. And so that's my experience. They let me go. Yeah. Oh, sorry. They let me out of there because but they get the point. That's my experience with my parents, right? My mom betrayed me. That was the start of my senior year of high school. So had I stayed in there from her lies and I didn't speak up for myself, I wouldn't have finished my senior high school. So I would have repeated a cycle because she didn't finish and my dad didn't finish. And so, coming out of that situation, man, like I've never seen healthy parental relationships. I've never seen it. I didn't grow up with it. I didn't experience it. And so, to be where we are now, as I look back, being the age my mom was when she did what she did to me right now. I'm that age right now. And I look back, I'm like, I wouldn't even think to do that to our own dogs. Like I could do that to a stranger. I am so determined to be the most present, safe, respectful, loving father. Like there won't be anything that comes from this bloodline that starts with me after me that will ever have to face anything like that ever again, because my dad and my mom was repeating something. And, they went through their own stuff as kids. They had their reasons for why they put me through what they put me through. But, I'm actually excited to be a dad. You know what I'm saying? Because of my upbringing, I'm excited to even heal the parts of me that didn't get to experience a safe parent. Like I'm excited to have sons for that reason. Like I want my boys.
I've always said that.
Yeah.
So one thing before we get into kind of what we want to have, it's so crazy to even hear that story. And it hurts so bad to hear that, not only for me, but I'm sure everybody who's listening too, because it's like you were just a kid. You go and you have this great experience, this fun day with your dad, only to come home and have to deal
Oh my God.
Babe.
Dang, I don't even know.
No, but
Wow.
it's like you were just a kid. Like, so I know it was really hard too.
Yeah, I did not expect that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, thank you, I'm good.
But one thing is, for me, you also didn't have a great example of being a husband. You had no example of being a husband.
Yeah.
But you're the best husband.
Yeah.
Like, even all my friends, they call and they're like, we just want a husband like Derell. We just want a husband like Derell.
Yeah.
And I know that like you're going to be the exact same as a father too. And I think that's what makes me so excited is for you to become a dad and to be able to, like you said, heal those parts of you that I think are still broken and that you still, you know, you want to give a child what you didn't have. And I know you're going to be an amazing, amazing father, girl or boy.
Oh man, thank you. I appreciate that. I did not expect them emotions to come up. That's kind of crazy.
Sad.
Yeah, it's weird. You never see me cry. That's why. But, you know, I think like it's always been important to me. And that's why I haven't been in such a rush to like have kids, because I want to make sure, just like I made sure in our marriage, that I was doing the self work that needed to be done so I can show up as an emotionally available husband. You know what I mean? Because early on, we argued a lot because I did not know how to deal with conflict, because every disagreement in my house growing up resulted in something being taken away from me, or something being held over my head, or my livelihood being threatened. My mom would literally say, I got another child to raise. You don't have to live here. I'm 12 years old, you know, like you can go. So like, I felt like anytime there was a disagreement, I had to fight for myself so I can fight for a place to stay, or fight for, you know, even food. You know what I'm saying? There'd be times where she would go feed her and DJ, and like, I got to go eat whatever's in the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? And so like those conflicts led to a lot of frustrations. So when you and I got married and we lived together, anytime we had conflict, like I was just I felt like I was fighting a battle when there was nothing to fight for. We were safe, we were fine, but I felt like I was fighting for something. And I did not look at it as a normal, like normally in conflict, you look at it as a disagreement, you're disagreeing on something, but it felt like I was trying to like win. So you didn't think I was your enemy or whatever the case may be. I don't know. It was weird. Like I took the way I thought growing up and I brought it into our marriage. So I had to grow in that. And the reason I'm glad that we've waited to have children is because, you know, since we've gotten married, not only have, you know, we've helped raise godchildren, we have our nieces, our nephews that we call. I've also had like airmen in the Air Force that have come from some horrific backgrounds, you know what I'm saying, that have been my kids essentially. And, you know, I've helped raise them and grow them and pour into them and teach them. And I've had to learn how to be patient with them when they're late to work and they have their boyfriend and girlfriend issues. And I'm training them to become the world's greatest airmen in the Air Force. And that taught me so much about being patient and listening and understanding that a child's prefrontal cortex is not fully developed yet. They are still learning. These are 17, 18, and 19-year-olds. They're the level of patience that it takes. And so like me learning all of that stuff and having gone through what I've gone through, I feel like now I am fully ready to bring a healthy child into this world and like help raise him and her too. I want to be a girl dad. I want to be like Hope. I want my girls, you know what I'm saying? And so, I'm excited. I didn't realize it's going to be an emotional conversation. Yeah.
I'm so proud of you. Like, truly, I can never find the words. I think we get so caught up in our day to day that like, we don't always talk about, like, we get on these platforms and I think people are just interested in it. So we talk about kind of what you've been through more now. But like to be where you are, like I always say, like my life and my parents set me up for success. Like it would be an issue if I was not where I am today.
Yeah.
But for you, you had every single odd against you and you made it where you are despite all of that. Like you are truly like a testament of God. Like I look at you and I just see God's favor, his love, his grace, his everything that the Bible tells us like God feels about us. You are a testament to all of those things. You're a beautiful person. You're kind. You're a good person. And you also have a beautiful life too. So despite all that you've been through, it's like now you get to live your life more abundantly and you're getting everything that you ever deserved. And hopefully like the love that you didn't get as a child, I think sometimes I like probably give you too much affection and you get annoyed with me. But like, not only from me, but from grandpa, from mom, from dad. Like, I think now, like, you just have so much love in your life.
Well, yeah.
Never anything you have to question.
No, I appreciate it. And that, like, that's one thing I will say, like, God has always had provision for me. Always, always, always. I always tell the story of how when I turned 12 years old, I met Susan, you know, my godmom. And, you know, I always say, like, when my mom and when my dad was not available to be the parental figures they should have been, God has always replaced their love with somebody who loved me just as unconditionally as a parent's love. And, you know, when I was 12 years old, I remember we moved to this neighborhood. I don't know if I told the story on this podcast before, but I'm going to tell it. We moved to this neighborhood that we had no business being in because we could not afford to be there. My mom was dating this dude that put us over there trying to show off or whatnot. And I knew eventually we was gonna have to move and get evicted and all that other stuff because that was the pattern, right? And I was in middle school at the time. We moved there. And I remember in the summer, I would get on my bike and ride around outside looking for a kid to play with. Never could find a kid to play with. Like this neighborhood was like a no kid zone apparently because there was like no kids over there. And for days I would look, and one day it dawned on me, like, and I know for a fact it was the voice of the Lord because I felt this so strongly. It was as clear as day. It came out of nowhere. I could not have came up with this myself. I felt the need to go find a house with a basketball hoop, knock on the door and ask for a kid to play with. Like it was just random. Just go find a house with a basketball hoop. Like just because there's a basketball hoop don't mean there's any kids in there. Maybe the kids that are in there are probably teenagers. Who knows, right? But I was just like, okay. So I get on my bike. And my mission changed. Instead of looking for a kid to play with, I'm looking for a house with a basketball hoop. So I started riding around on my bike and I see this house with a basketball hoop and I'm like, oh crap. So I got nervous and I was an early riser. I would get up early in the morning, right?
Still are.
Yep, still am. And it's about 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. And so I dropped my bike literally in their grass. Now that I got my own grass, what was I thinking, right? But I dropped my bike in their grass and I walked across their grass into their yard and I knocked on the door. And this woman comes to the door and she goes, hi, how can I help you? And I was like, hi, my name is Derell and I'm just looking for a kid to play with. And she was like, oh, okay. She was like, well, how old are you, Derell? And I was like, I'm 12. And she was like, oh my gosh, my son's 12. And she yells back, she goes, Landon. And Landon comes running to the front door. He already got a basketball in his hand. He was like, hey man, you like playing basketball? I was like, I love playing basketball. So Landon and I played basketball in their front yard all day that day. I told you I got there at 9. We played till 10 o'clock at night. It had to be, I felt like 10, but I knew we played till sundown because his dad came later that night and took us to a restaurant called Carrabba's. First time I had ever been in a fancy restaurant. Right. I remember I got in there, I tried to order fried chicken.
Susan always tells that story. She's like, we took him there and he asked for fried chicken and mac and cheese.
That's right. I was like, I got some fried chicken. I used to go to KFC. I was like, I want some fried chicken.
Or Publix.
And they started laughing. They was like, yeah, Derell, or she called me Relly. She was like, Relly, they don't have fried chicken.
This is an Italian.
Right. They was like, would you like some chicken Alfredo maybe? And I was like, chicken Alfredo? I don't know. What does it have in it? Yeah. And you know, that night I went and I spent the night to their house and those people became such an integral part of my life.
Yeah.
I remember, you know, every year from there, we would go, she would take us to the Miami Heat games. She paid for basketball camps. She paid for school clothes. Landon went to a private school called St. Thomas. And I would go to his after school care. I would leave my ghetto school and go to his school after school care. And they had pizza and they had the worship team there and they had like all the up-to-date stuff and and you know, it's funny because being around them, it diversified my communication because I grew up in the hood. And so being around them, I learned how to speak in a certain, you know, I learned how to articulate myself a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? And so it was just a godsend that he allowed me to go to that house, meet that woman who ended up just, oh man, they've been such an incredible addition to my life. And I watched how she was raising Landon. And so what's funny is as I have literally a front row seat to how my mom is raising me and how she's raising Landon. And that was the first time I saw such a healthy love between a mother and her son. And I was just like, bro, you don't realize how good you got it, how blessed you are. Like it was almost like her world revolved around making sure that boy was happy and healthy and well taken care of. And it was like the opposite on my end. And so God provided provision for me early on. And when there wasn't even father figures, when I got into high school, I had my coaches. I had, my cousin Bryce. My junior year of high school, every day Bryce would come pick me up from school. Bryce was like a very well-known basketball player in the state of Florida. And so he got all these scholarships to go play, but he would take me to go play with him. So I would be out of the streets, I wouldn't be out running around. I would go be with my cousin, And we would go to his house. Anytime my mom and I had disagreements, Bryce would leave his house in Hollywood, Florida, come all the way down to where I was near Pompano, pick me up and take me back with him. And I would stay at his house, with him, my cousin Vicky and Kent and all them. And it was just a blessing. He always made sure there was provision for me in those dark moments. And that's why I always say whatever it is that we're going through in life, there's a direct connection between it and where God is taking us. And in those storms is where you are getting something that God is going to make useful for you later on in your purpose. I can look back and understand why he allowed me to go through that, because I talked to so many people who have gone through so much trauma. Now I can relate to them and I've helped them. And,
And to see where you are now, I think if you had somebody like you when you were young, you would have felt like, okay, I can endure this. I can go through this. I can handle this.
Yeah.
And I think that it's so funny because it's like you have a following now and you look at the number of like 500,000 plus people, and that's just on Instagram. It's like almost 1 million people, and you don't know who is following you, who's literally going through that very thing.
Absolutely.
And you're just giving them hope and you're just inspiring them. And so you look at it and you're like, in some ways, I think even I look back on things that I've gone through and you're like, yes, that was hard and it still hurts, but thank God, because now I can be a voice to somebody like me who's going through that right now.
Yeah.
I can give them hope, or if I can, just help them see that, hey, someone else has gone through it too, and this is where I am now, then that makes it worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just feel so blessed because of that. And so, since I had parental figures in my life, and like even your parents, when I turned 18, seeing how they raised you and your sister, that was a blessing to me, you know what I mean? And so I now feel like not only am I fully ready to fully love, when we bring children into this world, we sometimes we think we're ready, but it's one thing to think you're ready, and it's one thing to know that I will lay down my life for whoever I bring into here, and I will put everything I have into making sure that the development is a healthy development. I remember you and I had a conversation. We were probably like 24, 25.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, how are we going to discipline our children? And
I was like, we're going to talk to them. We're going to be stern, but we're going to talk to them. They might get grounded, And
I was like, oh, okay, got it. So this is going to be a hard hammer, soft hammer kind of deal, because you can do all that talking. The way I was raised is, oh, you're going to get your behind toe up. If you come in here acting a fool, you disrespecting, you calling people by their first name. I couldn't even call my aunts and uncles by their first name. You call your aunts and uncles by their first. I'm like, oh, no.
No, I definitely say aunts, whomever. But like, we didn't grow up saying, hi, Miss Wilson. It'd be like, hi.
Whatever. Yep, Clarence. Or whoever. Yeah. And so for me, it was just and so we had a disagreement in that moment. I remember us talking. I was like, Samantha, I'm beating my kids. Like, I don't know what you talk, but those kids are going to be spanked. Because one, I've seen the other side too, because I love my godbrother. I love Landon. I love that joker, man. I love Landon. But Susan, my godmother, I was just telling y'all about, she never beat him. And that boy there, he had a mouth on him, and I used to be shocked. Like, he just said, what? Boy, my face would be in the ground and my body would be in the ER. Okay? Like, I don't know what you know what I'm saying? And so, for me, I was like, I see the benefit. The Bible also says, spare the rod and spoil the child. So I see the benefit in spanking your children, but my mindset has evolved since then, when it comes to healthy communication, and not only healthy communication, healthy discipline. When I got spankings, it came from an angry place.
Yeah.
My mom was angry. And so she was taking her anger out on me. When you understand, and I'm so glad that I did a master's in cellular molecular biology, because there was a part of that where I learned neurobiology, one, and I also understood psychology and sociology. We took classes with that as well. And when you begin to understand what's happening at the different stages in a kid's life, you realize that the impact that you have on how you treat them, how you talk to them, how you discipline them, has an effect on their ability to be a healthy, functioning adult.
Yeah.
And their anxiety and their depression levels and their self-efficacy, all those things go into how you spoke to them when they were 3, when they were 2. Because you even realize from birth till about 3 years old, the brain physically is growing at a rapid pace. Like it's coming from this and it's growing to the largest it's going to become. From those ages, you don't even realize, like, even when you're talking to them then, that it's such an important period in their life. And then when they're growing and they're trying things and they're learning the world around them and they're picking up stuff and they drop it, and you get some parents like, put that down. What are you doing? You don't know that you are now challenging their ability to feel like they can do things on their own.
Yeah.
Because that now they feel like, oh, maybe I did something wrong. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Or now they're scared to try new things. And you're wondering why your kid is scared to try things at 10 and 12 years old. They're shy to talk to other kids around them because it's how you talk to them and how you made them feel when they made a mistake at 5 and 6, when their literal brains are growing. You know what I mean? And so, like, now that I've learned and I understand. Now, I'm not saying our kid won't get slapped upside the head because you come crazy. There might have to be a moment where that happens, but it's going to become from a place of correction, the way God corrects us, and not from anger. I'm never going to be angry at my kid for making a mistake. You know what I mean?
And you need to let them know. I think part of that too goes into, one thing I will say is my mom was very adamant about, like, I am your mom, not your friend. That was, and I think that was everyone's.
Oh yeah, back in the day.
Then. But I do think, like, there is, and now my mom is like my best friend, and now I get to be one of her little friends. But I will say, for me, like, one thing that I do want is to be able to have some level of healthy friendship with my child too, especially if it's a girl. And I think similar for you if we have a son.
When we have a son,
there you go. And when we have a daughter. But I think that you can't get mad at a child for the way that it's trying to experience a world that it's literally never seen before. So it's literally just like doing things, like, you can't get mad at that because it's just trying to figure it out.
You show them the way and you correct them, because kids are going to make mistakes. That's why sometimes kids are very mean. And then when they become adults, they look back like, dang, there I was mean. But they don't realize that, that they're even hurting feelings, or they're saying something that's as painful at times. Some of them do. Some of them just bad as hell. Let's just keep it real. But, kids that have good hearts and they come up in a good house, like, a lot of times they need mentorship, they need redirection, they need something to put their energy into. Your job is to mold that and build that passion, and also raise them up in the word. Bible says, raise a child up in the way they should go, and they will always return to that. And so, I'm just excited, man. I'm excited to have kids. I feel like I'm ready. But let me ask you this though, and I asked you this on the life meeting the other day, but what do you think about our time? What do you think about the impact that kids are going to have on our freedom? Because right now we can just get up and go anywhere. You can get up and go to Pilates when you feel like it. You about to go travel with your girls to New York.
Yeah.
You can get up. You literally the last month you've been home. What? Maybe
April. I think I was home like 3 or 4 days. April. But honestly, I'm ready for that. Like, that's a little excessive. I'm ready to, like, sit my ass down and be home. Honestly, be in my bed. But I mean, we've talked about it, and we are ready to kind of slow down a little bit as it relates to, like, traveling and stuff. I think we both just like being home a little bit more, but we're also going to have help. Like, we're already looking at nannies and stuff, because I do think for me, as, getting ready to be a mom at some point, you do still have to have a life and an identity outside of being a mom. I think that you still need to be yourself. You need to feel good. For me, it's important to, like, feel good about how I look and still have time with you, just the two of us, and with my friends. So I know that there has to be obviously a balance, and for some time there may not be a balance at all.
Yeah.
But I think we're also just excited to share our life with our kids. Like, we've done so many trips, just the two of us, that I can think of, like, I can't wait to like have kids and take them back there, like Switzerland and, you know, just France, like things that we've done together. So I also think we'll be those parents that like have their baby like with them, traveling the world.
It's literally all over the place. That's definitely going to be us, just taking them everywhere we go. I don't got no concerns. I'm ready to, like, even when I go play basketball, our son going to be right there, daughter too. They're going to be right there in the crib chilling. Exactly. All the guys probably going to be their unks, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm ready for all of that.
My parents are ready too.
Oh my gosh. I was just talking to my grandfather the other day. I was like, you ready to be a great grandfather at 70?
Crazy.
Like, but that's a blessing to be able to see not only
grow up.
That's four generations.
Yeah, that is crazy.
His generation, my mom's generation, my generation, my kids' generation.
4 generations.
4 generations.
That is
which
amazing.
Is incredible.
But I do think one thing that I want to shout out too, because I feel like I've talked a lot about my mom, and I feel like we just talk a lot about my mom in general on the podcast. But I think one thing that I will say, because you grow up, especially as a girl, you become a teenager and you kind of run into your phases with your mom.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember specifically, like with my dad, and just kind of what I want to bring from him is that like he was deployed a lot when I was young. So, but I remember there's actually a picture of like when I was born for the, like, I was gonna say born for the first time. When I was born, I just like, there's a picture.
You have been reborn again through Christ.
Amen. Thank God. I've been of me like holding on to his finger, and I just would not let go. It's like our first picture we have together. And I feel like it's such a testament of what our relationship has been. And my dad is not like a emotional like person. I actually feel like if he told me how much he loved me, I think I would cry and probably never recover. But he showed how much he loved me all the time.
Oh yeah.
Like, I still have letters that he wrote me when he was like away overseas deployed, and like pictures he would draw me when I had just got my ears pierced. I must have like wrote him and told him I got my ears pierced, and he drew me a picture with my earrings in. Like, and even still to this day, like I just have my dad, I have this very like quiet love and quiet bond with my dad too. And it actually reminds me a lot of how my grandmother was with him. But I think that that's something too, is just making sure that, and I think we're both like this even in our marriage, is just like not just telling your kids you love them, but like showing up for them and making sure that they feel that.
Yeah, no, your dad definitely, both of your parents do an amazing job making sure that is felt and shown. And yeah, I remember your dad cry. I see him cry for the first time at the wedding.
Oh my gosh. I still can't watch the video of him crying.
Yeah, I remember that.
Just to watch him get emotional and just see how much he loves me really makes me emotional.
Yeah, so I'm excited. You ready to have these kids? We're going to have these kids.
Sorry, and you're going to be an amazing husband.
Man, thank you. Thank you. Look, listen, I'm excited. I'm ready. By the way, all the fellas watching this who can relate to me in any way, you had a rough upbringing, and now I know you're probably an amazing father. In the comments, go ahead and drop all the gems you got. Take the time I pour into you guys every day. So this is my request. If you got it, drop it. Even moms out there who came up in a rough household, go ahead and drop it in the comments. I'm interested. I love reading stuff like that because it gives me an opportunity to look at things from a different lens. You know what I mean? And, you know, you never want to, and this is a real fear of mine. I know I won't. Like, I'm not interested in it at all. But you never want to repeat any of the cycles that you come from. You know what I'm saying? And so I think it helps to see it and, you know, to listen to you guys. And so I want to hear from y'all.
Yeah, I think you have so much to offer, like the world. And I think the people that follow you reap so many benefits just of the wisdom that you drop. I can only imagine when you have kids. I feel like they're going to be like, okay, Dad, another lesson. But then they'll get older and they'll just be so grateful. Like, you have so much to give, and I'm just excited to watch you become a dad. And I think it'll be so healing for you.
Get in here, boy. Come sit down on your daddy lap. Let me talk to you real quick, son. Nah, man, it's going to be good. But thank you guys for tuning into this episode.
For tuning in.
This was a good one. Y'all got me crying on here, man. I'm a rip.
Babe got emotion.
Look, y'all ain't see nothing. Matter of fact, we taking it out.
No.
We taking it out.
That was
All right, hey, like, comment, subscribe, y'all. Appreciate you guys. Y'all are part of the family. We being this open with y'all. Y'all part of this family now. So appreciate y'all. Peace.
Bye.